Recording.
Welcome back to the YouTube channel, guys. Today we're going to be talking about Tor browsing.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Julian.
Could have been three. So, what we're talking about today, as said, is the Tor browser, but you should just call it Tor browser because there's already a the in there. The Onion Router acronym.
It is an acronym.
Yep. So,
Found that out today.
yeah, me too. So, then you're probably saying, what's an onion router? Because that doesn't make any sense. Well, we got you. An onion router was invented in the mid 1990s by the Naval Research Laboratory.
U.S. Navy.
Yep. They were like, yo, we need a secure way to send, receive data, whatever.
Over the wire.
Yeah. Yep. So what do? They made the onion router. Well, just onion router. Then they released the code to the public. That's how Tor was came to be. So I'll explain it to you real quick. Let's say you're trying to get your bank account, you need some money. It happens to all of us. What you do is, of course, you're logging in. Send your username, your password, all that information. This is you right here. This is me setting my username and password. Normally, what would happen is if you're using Firefox, say, you just send it straight over. Obviously, that's not safe. Really easy to get in there. Oh my God, you have everything.
Password, money,
Exactly.
access.
That sucks. Who would want that?
That.
So what the Tor browser says is, you know what? We're gonna route you through a ton of different nodes. Obviously, there's not a lot here. There's only three. The Tor browser uses around 100, I think. It's honestly a lot slower than Firefox. A lot. It's probably a second longer for us. It's
Big
a
time. That's a big
big
difference,
time
though.
for computers,
Yeah.
but you know, worth it to keep your safety. So basically, what happens is a directory node. That's us, you, me, whatever. It chooses a path. So let's say this is the path that it decides from the list of nodes, right? It creates a chain or circuit. Um, yeah,
And so, but like, explain that. When you're sending this like message, this node does not know that it's the start, and it only knows the next node.
exactly, Pat.
And their only job is to send the same information from node to node.
And this node doesn't know that it's an intermediate node,
Mhm.
right? So these are intermediate nodes. This is the directory node. But it doesn't know
Yes,
that.
yeah.
All it knows is that it sends information to this one
Mhm.
and it's encrypted. This node only knows that it gets its information from here and is sending it to here. That's all they know. All they know is to encrypt and send the information
Yeah.
to and from. But this node right here, this is the exit node.
Mhm.
This node, it does know that it's the exit node because it has to send the information to the server de-encrypted so that the server, your bank, can see your username and password the way it's meant to. And then it'll send it back through the same path, but in reverse. Um, yeah.
Onion layering.
Uh, I told you I would explain why it's called an onion. So
Correct.
onion router is like onions,
They have layers.
layers. So this node here correlates to this one. No, this one correlates to the directory node. This one correlates to this one.
Yep.
This one to this one. And then this one to this one. And then this is the server. The reason it's called an onion is because it's a loose example, but it's like you're peeling back the layers every time you send the data, right? So it's
Getting closer and
it's getting
closer.
closer and closer and closer, and it's like peeling back the layers of an onion. That's why it's called that. So this is sort of what it looks like, on the whiteboard. Julian is going to show you what it would look like, a
A
technical
technical
example.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so first we're going to start off on Firefox and then compare what it looks like on Wireshark there to what Tor looks like on Wireshark. So Pat, if you can just maybe exit out of, yeah, close out of that real quick and then send another go through to Wikipedia on onion routing again.
Yeah, just open Wireshark.
Okay,
Yeah.
Wireshark.
Yeah. Sweet. There we go.
So
Then we'll do DNS.
this is Firefox first.
Yeah.
So it'll take a sec. So
Perfect.
this is the onion routing Wikipedia.
Perfect. So everything we're seeing here is the same exact stuff we would see in class from our intro with Wireshark to our later assignments. So we're able to see the IP source and destination, but also we're able to get more of that metadata and the specific websites we want to go to, as well as like where stuff is getting routed through. So we are ending on Wikipedia, and you see on the last DNS, it says Wikimedia. It's connected to Wikipedia. But let's go to Tor browser now and see the difference for the same exact website we're going to look up.
This is where it gets juicy, fellas. This is the real.
So now let's boot up
Meat
Wireshark. I'll
of
run
this
the
app.
Wi-Fi. I'll search it,
There we go.
and then we'll specify for DNS.
Dang.
Yeah, so we see here that there are just way less options that come up, but also that there's no specific address that we're heading to. You can see that it's just being masked at the moment, and we don't really know exactly where we're going. So we're jumping through node to node trying to find the endpoint, and it takes a really long time to do that, as you see a bunch of stuff finally just popped up.
Yeah.
So in Firefox, we can see the full URL and a bunch of that other metadata, but with Tor, a lot of that information is completely hidden, and a lot of the encrypted traffic is just going randomly through the relays, like Pat was showing from node to node to node. So Tor's really good at protecting your identity and keeping yourself anonymous because of the difficult nature of how things are tracked through it. So Pat, could you explain the last part about some vulnerabilities?
That was a perfect segue into what I'm about to talk about. So the first weakness about this, this one is not, I'm going to say this is not as much as a weakness because it's harder to do. So basically, like we said, these nodes only know where they came from, what they're sending, and where they're going.
Where do you come from? Where do you go?
Cotton Eye
Where do you
Joe.
come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
So the bad thing is, if a hacker knows that they're looking for your bank account information, your password and your username, they could possibly track this path. Right? That's
Yeah.
right saying that. Yeah, they can track this path because they have these nodes. Say they have the list of nodes and they see the same information in all these nodes. They know they're connected somehow.
Yeah,
So yeah,
because this is sending the same data that
Mhm.
this is asking for.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's going all the way through, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is the only thing is it's harder because you're obviously not going to know that if you see these two, you're not going to know which one came first.
But
But
you may
you're
not
just
even
gonna,
know which node to look for. Like, what if you're looking at this one?
yeah, you don't, yeah,
know.
you don't know. But that's why it's a weakness, but it's not as weak
Yeah.
as this next one. So this is where it comes into like the real Achilles heel, I could say, of onion routing.
I would say that too.
It is the exit node. The reason why this is the Achilles heel of onion routing is because this is the only node that knows who he is.
The
It's
only one.
purpose.
That's crazy.
It's
Could
purpose.
you imagine that?
I wish I knew who I was.
We're Pat.
Yeah, okay. Lock it.
But
All right. So this exit node knows that it's the exit. Like Pat was saying, it needs to know this because it's sending your decrypted data to the server. So, if someone finds this exit node, can you help me a little bit? If they find this exit node,
that's bad because they have all your data.
yeah, that's basically
Yeah,
straightforward.
it's just you just have all the decrypted data. I mean, then what do you do?
Yeah, and then that's
Dude, I'm basically emailing them my username and
Okay,
password
yeah.
and all my money.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
That's so like if someone knows but then again, like these are all weaknesses, but you have to know what you're looking for.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
You're not just
definitely-
gonna stumble across the exit node.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's
you
possible.
have to know that you want the exit node.
You have to node.
Yeah. You have to node.
Yeah,
All right. I mean, yeah.
that's basically it. Maybe we could just do like a little recap.
Yeah. Onions,
Layers,
layers,
nodes, path, encrypted,
server,
server, Tor, the onion router,
Naval Academy.
naval cap.
Tor safe, Firefox less safe.
Exactly.
Exactly. Because of path scrambling.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you
Yep.
guys for listening today.
Thank you. I'm Pat.
I'm Pat.
I'm Pat. Just kidding. I'm Julian.
Ah,
Bye.
our YouTube about 4.